First, we have to be louder than the others, right? So we can do this. And actually, great introduction. It was also slideless, so highly appreciated. You know, in Germany, the people talking half an hour with 2,000 slides, but this is really nice. And surprisingly, it is somehow similar to my introduction. So simplicity rules. My opinion is if you can write simple code, it will always win. And I would like to write simple code today. And I will challenge you, or your task is to challenge me and say, okay, what's wrong with the code, or say this is way too complicated. And the scope is cloud native and microservices. So first, this is actually one slide, you know, which fits well with my pre-speaker. It's really fun to learn things, and why I'm still not crazy. I started with Java with 1995. I sticked actually with the simple things and really enjoy that. So I try, you know, to stick with Java SE and then microprofile Jakarta E. And the observation is I do the same for 20 years, and there are many, you know, attempts to do other languages, other frameworks, but mostly whatever I saw, it actually died. So this was actually the nice observation. So I didn't have to learn too much. And the others learned, you know, every 2 years something completely different, and everything went south. So deep learning is a nice thing, but you shouldn't waste your time. So you should, you know, stick with something. In Java, it is Java SE or Java E or microprofile. In web, I stick to web standards before I learn, you know, crazy frameworks. Can you make it a little bit louder, because the other guy is louder right now. So I would like to be louder than he. So now we have a few pointers. The first one, the most interesting for you, is the Airhacks TV. So you can ask me questions once a month, and I will try to answer them. It is a YouTube channel, and Airhacks FM is a podcast. I had already interviews with James Gosling and interviews about Kafka with IBM streaming and stuff like that. Okay. Learn once, never migrate, some online courses, Airhacks TV, in Airport Munich some workshops, and this is the last slide. Thankfully, because the code is better than this. Okay. Now, it's not my first time in Cluj. I check it. I was last time here, I think 5 years ago, and it was a disaster, more or less the first 10 minutes. It was Java user group, Cluj. There were like 180 people. And I did a research, so I go Transylvania, Cluj. I do something with how it's called Dracula, of course. And they told me, sorry, but we hate Dracula. It's like, shit, yeah, what I can do? It's like, what do you like? And what they told me, I found that what we built 5 years ago, Cluj JAG 2014, is we built Zuika distillery. And what I learned is some DSLs, like there is a Zuitka, Horinka, Palinka, and the fourth one I forgot. So what we actually built the whole evening, a very flexible distillery with no dependencies, and I think everyone liked that and everyone contributed something. So I think it could work again this time, except you don't like distilleries anymore and you prefer Dracula. So I have to sit down. They were surprised that I don't have slides, but this is like dev talks and not management talks. So I would like to hack something. Agreed? Everyone? You like code, right? If not, I can find some slides for you, but I don't know what's on them. So wait a second. So first, what I will do something today is what I usually don't do in projects. So it might work, but let's see. So drinks, let's say. And what happens right now, it tries to connect to the internet, which could work. And this is Maven archetype, and it will generate a project. And it can take a second or two. And what happened here, it created drinks. And what I would like to do is today use something like Visual Studio Code, which is known actually in web development, right? So this is too big. But you are all young, you have good eyes. So what it is the simplest possible endpoint, JAX-RS endpoint, which exposes something to the outside world, to React, Elm. A little bit louder here. Can you make it louder? I don't hear myself. This is actually the... Very good. So, now, what I would like to do straight away, Maven compile and close eyes for 1 second. Okay, you can open eyes again. Now, what happened behind the scenes is, I'm here, I created actually a service called Pink. So it says hello. But what we wanted to have is like, we wanted to have drinks. So let's say I would like to create another new file. Distillery. How is distillery in Romanian? Like, you know, Zuitka factory? I forgot it. What? Distillery, where Zuitka is created. The Zuitka factory, how it's called in Romanian? Kaza? Kaza. Okay. With C or K. Kaza. Okay. So we have the Kaza, whatever it is. Hopefully this is appropriate. And the Kaza, there's only one. So there is an application scoped. Application scoped. And there is only one. And for me it's unusual because I use Visual Studio Code to hack Java. Usually I use an IDE, but I just wanted to show you how it works. This is actually just, you know, Visual Studio Code is a free Microsoft environment. Has nothing to do with Visual Studio, or very little with Visual Studio. So public method, string, I don't know, do Kaza, right? So distill or create. And what we will start with is like Horinka, right? This is the hard stuff. And the Pink resource injects Kaza, which is always a good idea. And this is like Kaza, and here I will try to do some Kaza. So create, and let's see, Horinka. So seems to work. Now we would like to have a little bit, how it's called, drink in Romanian? Drink? Just the generic drink. What? Băutură. Okay, so we have some băutură, and the băutură is also a class, and we would like to have băutură via JSON. And the băutură is the băutură name, and of course we need the băutură int strength of the băutură, and băutură has to be constructed, băutură, and this is string name and int strength, exactly. And now I can say this name, it almost looks like JavaScript, right? So this strength equals strength, okay. Now I can say here, I would like to expose the băutură and say here new băutură, and the băutură has strength, and the strength is 42, right? Is it? Yeah. New băutură. And why not? Băutură. Băutură. Sorry. So it's not, Romanian is not my first language, so therefore I'm struggling a little bit. So, and this thing returns JSON. So, and now if I switch here, what I see here is we get the băutură back. So, and this is as JSON, So if we had more time, I could create a web component which accesses the backend with the Baldura. Okay, but the Baldura has to be, no, sorry, the Casa, we need some business metrics. How many liters of Baldura were created? And you know, were the explosions or not, and so forth. So what we can do, I can just inject a metric registry, metric registry, is that registry, and this registry is metric type registry type, and the registry type is type equals application. And what I could do right now, I can say registry counters and created Balduras Inc. And what I'm doing, I'm creating business counters on the fly. Okay, so have that. Now, what we got with it is the following. So I have here my Baldura, and on this part, what I also get, I get Prometheus matrix, cloud native. I get the business matrix, application, and this looks strange, but this is what Prometheus, is cloud native monitoring tool, really needs to have, and Prometheus everywhere. So, and if you don't like Prometheus, you get still this as JSON. And these are the generic, you know, metrics of the runtime, and we have business metrics of the runtime. Cool? Now, what we also get, Swagger is built in. So if I open that, I get ping, try it out, and we get some Balduras. No, internal server error. Where is my, why that? Oh, registered metric create Baldura was not flagged as reusable. So I get here Baldura problems with the metric. And why not reusable? No idea. But what we get here for free is we get Prometheus matrix, we get JSON, or what you see right now is Jakarta E and microprofile. So it's everything built in. This will run on stock Whitefly, WebSphere, OpenLiberty, Payara on all major servers. Okay? Now, any questions so far? Questions? What's wrong with you? I usually get so many questions that there is no time. Right now, this is what is running right now. It's actually not used in production now. I will switch to usual runtime in a second, but it runs on something specific. I would like to show you in a second, just to keep the surprise. But on regular application servers, you get the same experience. So you can switch to Payara and it will behave exactly the same. I'm using here something special for the first time just for fun. Okay? Now, but you asked me already what it is. And the cool story is this is a new runtime, and this runtime is called Quarkus. Quarkus. And what I can do with that is Maven, now watch that, install -p native. And with a little bit of luck, it will create right now in 2 minutes, it takes around 2 minutes, a native image. A native image means like Go. A cloud native library which with JVM, runtime, everything included. So what is the title of the talk? Simplicity rules. What you can do, you can use, you know, stock microprofile and Java E and Java E programming model, which is very simple. You saw here no patterns, no histories, nothing. And if you like, you can cross-compile that. This is there was the metric problem, but It just opened the browser in one point of time. It takes now a longer time. What it does, it searches for all paths of what is used, all libraries, and I use a lot. I included everything. Transaction Manager, Hibernate, whatever I could find is there. And then we'll create from everything one executable image. And this is a native executable, right? So you see it searches. And this is based on Graal VM. So this is the trick. If we switch to Java minus version, you see what I'm using, JDK 1.8, and this is based on, you see here, on Graal VM, which is open source. Okay? So what I'm showing you right now is I'm using my own, old Java EE stuff and compiling in cross-native to Graal. Happy with the answer? So this can take a little bit. Now, the question is, so first I would like to fix the metric stuff. So this was like, I don't even know what's the problem with the registries. What we could also do, we could say this is counted. And it would just count how often the method was invoked. And we have counted, metered, timed. And what I wanted to show you, a business metric, which is a counter, which increases, how many Horinkas were created, destroyed, and so forth. Okay. Now, on the same note, it will take 1 minute or two. If we switch to target here, what happened here, we have here drinks runner. It created, it looks like a fat jar, but it is not. ls minus lh, you see the drunk jar is 170K. It's very small, and this is the native, this is 40 megs for everything. JVM, runtime, and server. I think it is created right now. Yeah, it was successfully created in 2 minutes. So now, watch this. Java minus jar runner starts, so I can, activity monitor, you see the runner, Java. So, and one is the Visual Studio Code itself, and one of this is Java. I think this is, let's see. So this takes 100 megs of RAM, and the other one, I'm not sure which is which, and there's one, let's say, what is this? 400. So one is Visual Studio Code, and the other is my runner. I'm not really sure what it is, but it doesn't matter. What I would like to do right now, launch the native one and compare both, right? So, first, JVisual VM, open. No, doesn't like to open. So it doesn't matter. So we have 100 here, 400 here, and now watch that. I will launch, now I call this one, and launch drinks runner. Watch how quickly it starts. Done. So now the native image was started. It's very like a Go library. And watch this. This is drinks. This is native. And it comes with 23 megabyte of RAM. So what it means is with that, you need, some time to generate the native image once in the pipeline, but at the end, you can save, 90% of heap. So what I'm saying what we usually do in projects is we stick with standard Java EE runtime because it's small enough, but if you really would like to save memory, you can do with that. It starts with in seconds, it is fully integrated, and you can use the same programming model as Java EE or Microprofile. Okay? It's a fairly new project with called Quarkus, comes from Red Hat, and is well integrated with Kubernetes, clouds, and OpenShift. Questions? Crystal clear? Cool. I don't know whether you can hear me, so this is what I a little bit confusing, right? So you see the green screens like what he is talking about. They're completely confused. So then I would, yeah, just what you can also do. Cloud native configuration. It comes with key value pairs. So I can say here Bordura, right? Bordura, and this was Palinka, Bordura, and now I can say config property. Wrong one. And name is Bordura, I think. And the default value is, let's say, milk. It's not configured. So if we say here, string Bordura, and here this Bordura dot what? This Bordura. So, okay, now it should be configured. My service is still running somewhere. So where is it? Maven, compile. This is now Quarkus dev. It comes with own plugin, which watches the changes and redeploys the changes on the fly. So what it says, Maven package. So now it opens, the port, and now you see I installed a lot of dependencies to make it more realistic. So it comes with whatever you can imagine. This is very similar to Java EE. And now what you should see is localhost ping. So we have Palinka, because Palinka was configured here, cloud native. And we can say, what was the other one? Palinka, Horinka, Zutka on the fourth one? You have the fourth one? Milk. Water also works, so it's water. Okay, so now the funny thing with that is the config property, it searches in the properties first, can be overridden with environment entry and then with system properties. So on Kubernetes and Docker you would override that with deployment configuration. So it will behave right in cloud or config maps. So it's already built in. Okay? Now you ask me, what is it? So the plan right now is shut down Quarkus and show you regular Java EE, and it will behave the same. So this is the idea. How you say, I cannot use Quarkus, I have to use WebSphere, Payara, Whitefly, or whatever, how this would look like. And for that, I would like to shut this down, this as well, and this as well, and go here and say set up Java EA project and called eDrinks. And I will launch the largest server, Payara, OpenLiberty. So Liberty is the WebSphere server, and it starts right now. And eDrinks is already there, and I would like to open another IDE, because you saw the Visual Studio Code, so I will just open another IDE for fun and do something similar. So what I would like to do is project groups junk. So I have the eDrinks, And this is regular Java EE application. It means it comes with Java 8 and micro profile, nothing else. And what I wanted to do is to have here enjoy, we would say enjoy, Horinka, Palinka, Zuitka is with T, right? Very good. This is what I remember. And, of course, milk and water. We have to be inclusive, right? So, milk and water. So, we have everything we need. And now, what I did, in a Java, why no signal? Wait a second. Yeah. In a JavaScript workshop, a JavaScript programmer asked me, do you have in Java a kind of a watcher which watches the changes and deploys everything on change? I was like, we don't have it, but it's very easy to build. So I built one, like 3 Java classes. They listen to file system events. On an every change, Maven is invoked. This is what I will do right now. And so I will call what, this is the thing. And what it does, it finds Maven, builds Maven, and copies the Maven to all servers I have on my machine. Whitefly, Payara, Open Liberties. It deploys to whatever it can. And as you can see, I have the war is 4 kilobyte, and it was built in 3 seconds. So this is no magic. It's no Quarkus, nothing. This is stock servers. So now, do something similar here. So I can go here to my ping and or just go first here, localhost 9080, and now we have Open Liberty. We go to what was it? edrinks resources/ping, and it works. Now, what I also get, localhost 8080, Open API, and the port is 9080, sorry. Open API, I get the same matrix. This is the Prometheus matrix. So the point is, now I have stock Java EE application, and I have exactly the same programming model. So there are no changes in code, exactly the same. And so now what I can do, we are still 15 minutes, so I can create my Bowdura, and the Bowdura had public string name and public int strength, not length, strength, and a constructor, and I would like to return the Bowdura here, new Bowdura with the message and 42. And this returns Bowdura. This is Bowdura, not boundary, sorry. Bowdura. And what I have to tell him, it's like, hey, produces is produces value media type JSON. So now it's configured. So try it again. So this is the JSON view. And now what I would like to show you is the following. So the schema was automatically created from the Java class, from the object. Okay? So there's nothing to do, no Swagger annotations. I can use them to enhance that, but it's not necessary. So this is the schema. So what basically means, I can also go here and say, okay, this is the Open Liberty, get, try it out, execute. and I get here my response body. Everything built in without any external dependencies. And if you can see, my deployable to the cloud is 4 kilobyte. Why is it so important? The smaller the deployable, the faster the deployment. We deploy in our projects 50 to 100 times a day to the cloud. Now imagine the war would be 20 megs. It takes far too long. So the smaller the war, the faster the deployment. And if you ask what happens with the application server is part of the immutable infrastructure. It is pushed to the cloud every 3 months because the release is every 3 months. You don't have to push it, every other day. Okay? Questions so far? No. Now, a little bit. What are you saying? You have to be louder here. Oh, very good. So if you have question,
I'll walk around with the microphone if there's any questions so we can cover the other guys. Thank you.
Hello. Could you tell me something about debug mode in this development?
Wait a second. What?
Debug. How to make a debug here?
Oh, debug.
Yes.
It would be not a problem because the Quarkus exposed the port, and this is like Java debug, so there's no difference. And this debugging experience is fairly good. The Quarkus exposed the port 5000. I will have to connect the port 4000 set. And in OpenLiberty and all the others is also set. So the first time I'm not using any plugins here. So usually if you have IDE plugins, the debugging works out of the box. What I wanted to show you right now is the worst possible experience. I'm using Visual Studio Code outside. Visual Studio Code didn't know anything what I did, right? And the server just reloaded, okay? If you have IntelliJ plugin, Eclipse plugin, you get the debugging out of the box. So debugging works out of the box. If you really would like to see it, I will launch the server with debugging, but this is trivial. There's one button, debug, and it debugs. Okay. Any other questions? So I need power. So the question was debugging, and I wanted to answer it. I didn't want to answer this. Why? Because it is trivial. So if you are here, I would say properties. I can choose my runtime, run server, Payara, let's say, and then could say here, debug, and I'm done. Okay? Now to show you this, I will have to kill it and restart it, so it will disrupt my flow. Okay? So first, so what we had, Casa, right? Casa was the factory, I think. Right? Casa? Kazan. Oh, sorry. So this is a Kazan. Now the Kazan created Zuitka. Baudura. It is create. Return Baudura. Return, let's say, Horinka. I have to learn a new one. I only know the 4. And new Baudura. And Horinka is strong? Is Horinka strong or not? So that gets 90, of course. Now, we have Horinka, and let's say we get throw new illegal state exception. Too strong for you. Can happen, right? So now, if I would call that from my ping resource here, with Kazan, add inject, and let's do here something. Kazan create, something like this. So now, if I will switch to here, eDrinks resources ping, you see nothing happen, and the reason is because I get internal server error. And internal server error is on purpose. This was the exception. I could throw another exception, but this is not the point. What I could do right now, I can say, hey, Kazan, retry, max retries, let's say 3 times. And if it's still too strong, what I would like to do is, I would like to fall back to a method. And the method is the normal drink. So, and the method, I need a method, public Bavdura, normal drink. And the normal drink will return a Bavdura, which is, let's say, milk, and the milk is 0. So we have fallback. So, and to demonstrate to that, this is just retries. Okay. So where is my, so this is the web application, and let's see whether I will see something. So name milk strength 0, and what you saw is it retried 4 times, so the first time, and then automatically was fallback to 0, right? So my war is still 5K. So there is no histories, nothing inside. And this what I did is absolutely portable. I could create it, you know, from that, this Go, what I showed you before, it will absolutely work with Quarkus. I could run it on Whitefly, Payara, OpenLiberty, Tommy, whatever you like, okay? So, questions? No? Then, we have some time. Hey, oh, where? Wait a second, wait a second. Now.
These Jakarta utilities, are they dependent on JE8 or Jakarta EE? Or can we use on older JE versions?
Perfect question. So I actually didn't like the microprofile at all because they were always own runtimes. But what happened is the microprofile developers and the server developers are the same people. And now all Java E8 servers come out of the box with microprofile support. This is the cool story. So whatever I showed you right now, it will run on Whitefly 16, Payara 5, OpenLiberty 19, Tommy, forgot the version. Oh, very good. The
So
older servers.
on JE6, for example, JBoss 6, AAP, or something like that?
Very good. So what to do if you have older servers? So we had in one project Whitefly 15, and it didn't come with all the microprofile. The fault tolerance is not included. So there is an hack, there is a polyfill, and it's called small rye. So if you search for small rye, and if you had an internet and you would search for small rye, R-Y-E, you will find fault tolerance, config, and if you add it to your dependency, it will work. I tested with Whitefly. Small rye. The internet worked, but no more. It's gone. So we killed the switch, but not a problem. Small rye. And I have to be careful, yeah? So, and where was it? Here, this is how it's small rye. This is the name. If you search for small rye IO, you will find that. Cool. Now, other questions. So really what I showed you is actually stock development, what I do all the time, except the very first part in native compilation. I will do it in a Vue project where we have a massive amount of data and we will process it and we will start load balancers. This will happen in one of my projects. But all other projects look like this, not like no internet found rather than, you know, the OpenLiberty stuff. Very cool. So now, I have a stock project here, right? Where was it? eDrinks. So now, try something strange. What now happens is, my machine is so slow because OpenShift runs behind the scenes. And it consumes more than 50% of my cores. This was the reason why everything was so slow and so hot. So what I did right now, I deployed, without anything, the stock application I deployed on Kubernetes. So, and now, mini shift console, it opens the console, And as you can see, AirHacks, eDrinks is already scaled to 1. And in this particular case, Payara is used. So on my machine, I have WebSphere running, Payara, OpenShift, and the Quarkus. So a little too much, but it is like it is, right? So it's dev talks. So we have here eDrinks AirHacks. Route is already created, and the route is not available because I don't have internet. And it has to be pingable. Only with a working internet you can use, the route. You see, the DNS cannot be resolved, okay? But what I can show you, watch this. So this is ready to use project. It is deployed, and I could actually do this. I can go here and say OC project. This is, I'm in the Kubernetes environment. OC scale DC eDrinks minus replicas equals 2. And it scales to 2. The load balancer is reconfigured, and we have a rolling update with fully fledged application server. This is Payara full, everything. Payara 5189, whatever. I use it one of my clients for a startup. It's a funny story. One startup wanted to have something, cloud native. I showed them this. They had no idea about Java EE, and they say, what is it? This is incredible. And they are running in production right now with that, with big data, okay? So this is Payara on OpenShift. Unfortunately, I cannot click on that because it goes to the internet, to the service to resolve the IP address. So it's impossible to invoke it, actually, right? But 3 minutes to go. So questions? To summarize, what we did, I started with Quarkus.io, built a small Kazan Baudura application for you, and at the end, took 3 minutes. I cross-compiled that to native Go-like library, like unikernel. You could push it to the cloud without any external dependencies, without Java, anything. Then you ask me the story, what is it? It's a little bit too magic. So I start over with stock Java E8 application, deployed it to WebSphere, and use Swagger, Prometheus metrics, fault tolerance pattern, circuit breaker, could show you, bulkheads, everything included. And at the very end, I took the same application, push it to OpenShift with Payara full with a stock runtime, and now it runs on OpenShift and scaled it to 2. Okay. Any other questions? Or any questions at least? Have you understood what I actually said? Right? I have no idea because at least I have some code here. Okay? Very good. Now it's quiet. Now you can ask questions now. No questions. Now we are our questions. So. Question? Yeah, was it complicated? No, but what's cool story is, because it is like it is, what we actually do, from design-wise, all the old pattern from Java, service locators, factories, interfaces are completely forbidden. Developers are only allowed to write simple business code. And the less Java E, the better. So in all my projects, actually 90% of all Java E is just at inject. So nothing else. And a view JAX-RS, and then the application is completely portable. It doesn't matter what is used. And what my client appreciated, I do not spend too much time in Romania, but I would say Austria, Switzerland, Germany, we don't need specific runtimes. We can, get the old application server. I don't care and just ship it. So I don't have, to ask for something esoteric. It just works like it works. So the second part, where I started with Java E, is what I do every day. The first time, the Quarkus is a new one. So the framework is now 4 weeks old, or 5-6 weeks old. It's not, and the Graal integration is getting better and better. And what it also comes, this is the last thing, so we have 1 minute. If we switch to drinks and target, what's cool, if you look at the Java, so this full Java 200K, which is not true. The 200K is just the business logic. And the cool story is the dependencies are here. And the dependencies are stock whitefly dependencies. It's not like esoteric new framework, it's whitefly. But if you think about Docker, Kubernetes, and cloud, what you will do is you create a Docker image with the dependencies, and you will ship the jar 200K 100 times a day. So from the beginning, it is separated. It is not a fed jar. The business logic and the platform are separated, exactly as it should be in the immutable infrastructure. You got me? The idea? And this is complete. So Uber jars, fed jars, from my perspective, do not make any sense. Because why I should create 20 megs or 50 megs every time if only 5 kilobyte change? This is completely stupid. But this makes sense. This is why I'm showing you right now. And I never show, Payara Swarm or Payara Micro because I don't see the use case. For that, if you really need to know small footprint, it could work. Any final questions, thoughts? You say you are completely wrong because? No? Okay, time is up. So,
Thank you very much,
sorry.
Adam.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Adam.